back to the channel. Go ahead and, if you don't mind, like and subscribe on this video. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you get these notifications when these new videos come out once a week. Talking today about Misfire Code. The Misfire Code. You get the I think it's 590, which is the Misfire Code, and then 591 and 592 tells you which cylinder. A lot of those can be traced back. This machine did it about 6 months, 8 months ago. Come to find out, it was the clutches were out of alignment just a little bit, and it throws that Misfire Code just because the belt is not lining up properly. So I pulled all this off, lined it up, and my Misfire Codes went away. We've done 2 or 3 rides since then, no problems. If you've seen the earlier video where the donkey went down, we rolled it over on its side, pretty hard hit. I think it may have knocked it out of sequence again. We rode the next day, it was fine, but all of a sudden here at the house I just took it down the road for something the other day, and it threw the same Misfire Codes again. So I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to check it with my trusty HunterWorks clutch lineup tool and see. I can pretty easily pull this clutch off and pull this clutch off and check it, and it'll let me know real quick if it's not lined up. So if you'll bear with me, stick around and you'll see it happen. He calls it, Mr. Todd down there calls it a go, no-go tool. Slide it on here. You can see that slide, that should slide all the way up on there, on that one. And pretty much halfway on this one. You can see it stops right there. All right, so you can see it goes on both of them. Just showing it will fit on both these things. Now, the trick is, it should go on both of them right now at the same time. It won't. Let me get y'all down here closer. You can see how it's missing right there. You can see it's hitting over here and it's not here. So this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is causing my Misfire Code. That is enough to put that clutch out of line, those 2 clutches out of line, and give you the Misfire Code. When you get those Misfire Codes, when you get the Misfire Code, the 65590,
and the subcode's the 1,
and then the subcode will be 91 and then 92.
and that'll tell you which cylinder.
That'll tell you which cylinder it's picking it up. But anyway, what is 90% of the time, or 80%, whatever you want to call it, most of the time it's going to be your clutch tool, unless you've got a lot of miles on your machine and maybe your valves are out of adjustment, or you haven't changed your spark plugs in a long time. There could be some other things, but most of the time, first thing I'd go after is checking your clutch line up, because this will be the 3rd time I've lined this one up. I lined it up when I put it on there. Lined it up about 6 months ago. We turned it over, and I got to line it up again. So it's no big deal. It's just a little aggravating to have to take everything off to do it, but it's a fairly simple process, and I'll walk you through it. All right. Now that I know it's not lined up, what I got to do is, what we got to do is we got to take this cover off. Now I've got a Razorback temp gauge in here, so I've got to disconnect it. You got to disconnect your air intake hose. I've got a blowhole over here that blows cold air into it. Got to disconnect that. Move all this stuff out of the way. So this cover's got to come off. If you've got a stock XP in this area here, this comes off a whole lot easier. But if you got all this aftermarket stuff like I do, then it's just going to take longer to take it off. The more bells and whistles you got, the more stuff you got to work on. So anyway, there's no sense in y'all having to watch me take everything apart right here. It's just these 3 screws here, these 3 here. Disassemble the stuff up top. Your hoses, pull all them off, and then this will come off. I'll see you in a second. Be careful not to lose those. Those are valuable. 12. those who are watching and questioning, I'm using the impact to break these loose. I will not use the impact to tighten them down. I will torque them. Turn over here and give me a rag. Back off. So you got these 2 bolts right here, you loosen up. And then I come around here and I loosen these 4 up over here. I loosen these 2 up right here, facing back, or I'm sorry, this one.
They can't see that. Your head's in the way.
And I'm gonna loosen up this. These I've already done with the impact. I'm getting ready to do these right here with the...
Oh, that's how you get the back. Good gracious.
I gotta get hold of it with a wrench. Yeah, alright. Everything's loose. Alright, so now all we do...
Is it way out of line?
Not now to loosen everything up. Take a pry bar. I got that on there. It's almost on there. Just take and wiggle it until it's on there. Alright, there you go. That one's all the way on there. And that one's all the way on there. But like I said before, this is tapered because this wrench is universal for... Todd says this, Hunter Works says this wrench is universal for several different models, like the 900s and so on. So this is tapered in here a little bit. This shaft, so we'll only go on there halfway on this one, but it goes all the way up on this one here. Anyway, so all we're going to do is I'm going to go to the other side and torque the other side down to 44 pounds of torque. This side is torqued down to 65 pounds of torque. The other side is 44, and that is per the Polaris specs. You see it's on here, halfway up in that groove like it's supposed to be, all the way up in this one here on the Polaris XP 1000. I'm going to tighten everything down, and we'll come back, we'll pull this off, and if everything stays in place like it should, we should be able to just slide it right back up on there. I'll be right back. I'm going to torque the other side, I'll be right back. There it is, that one's torqued. There it is, that's torqued. So that's torqued down to 65, or 64 and 44. Now, I'm just going to get this off, tap on a little bit here. There it is, there you go. Alright, so it's off. Now test it. There it goes. Slide it back up on there. Easy squeezy. Alright, so she is back in line. There we go. Alright. Now, take some warm water and just clean all that dirt up and down that because I want it better. Alright, so now, take this clutch and blow everything out. Blow it out, we'll clean it up with a little Scotch-Brite or some brake fluid.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess. Alright, so I'd advise whenever you do this, check your cover right here for belt coming up and slapping it. It eventually will wear a hole, a groove in here. I've done replaced this one once, so this one's in good shape now. The other one, it was already through. There's 2 pieces of plastic in here. It was already through the first piece. That means water can get in there and more debris can get in there. So anyway, this one's in good shape. Like I said, you can kind of see a groove right there maybe where it's hit it once or twice. It's been replaced. There's no groove in there. We're good to go. We're going to put it back together. I have found that you can take these rubber washers off. I mean, these bolts with the rubber washers on them about 4 or 5 times and reuse them if you're careful. After that, you about need to get new ones because they'll just start kind of tearing apart. Okay. Everything back together, or back on there. That's all back together now. Pipe blowhole's back on there. Ready to put the secondary on there. There you go. Make sure that's all the way on there. If you don't get it all the way on there, it will come off. All right, this goes down to 65 pounds of torque. Well, I use this tool. I wedge it in here. I'm not going to show this on video because I don't want somebody doing it and breaking their clutch and blaming me on it. So that's the way I hold it down. Some people do it and have two people do it. I'm by myself, so that's the way I do it. I've been successful so far. It's torqued down. It's torqued down. That one's torqued down to 65. Now, the easiest way to do this is set your belt up in there. It's a new belt. Yep. As a rule of thumb, you always put it where you can read the writing on it. And I can. So, slide it right up in there, like that. Use your clutch tool. Get up in there, wedge that down there like that. Push down there a little bit, and then we go right on there, just like so. This one torques down to 95. There again, I position this in there, up against this clutch. This one, like this. Now, I use a combination of this clutch pull-off tool and an old-fashioned water filter wrench because it's soft and supple. Combination of both of them, that way we don't put too much pressure on that clutch tool. I'm not going to show you doing it because I don't condone it. I don't necessarily recommend it. That's how I do it when I'm by myself. So take it upon yourself. Take the risk. I take a risk every time I do it. I've never had any issues with it. So that's how I do it. But I'm not going to suggest it necessarily. But that is the way I do it. And there you go. Spin that. All right, that's good. Good there. Let's crank it up, see what it does before we... And that is a brand new belt. So that's a brand new belt. And I put it in gear and everything real easily. And it didn't spin back here whenever I put it in gear. So that's always good. Okay. Yep. I always put that cover back on. I always do, if you do tires or wheels, I do one up in that corner. I do one down here. That way it's kind of lined up. Before I tighten them down, I get down here and it's all out of line. If you got a Dura clutch on, it's a little bit bigger than your regular clutch on for all diameter. Just barely fits in there. So if you don't have it on there good and straight, it will hit the case. So you may have to, and it tells you in the instructions when you install them, to fire it up and try it. And if you hear it hit the case, take the bolts loose, push up on the thing and tighten it back down. And I have had to do that before. So it's nothing new. Like I said, I've done it before. And don't over tighten these. You can take these out with a small impact or something you want to. But I recommend always going back with this, hand tighten them, because you can't over tighten them. And if you over tighten them, that's it, you're done. Plastic, if you over tighten it, stretch it out, and you might get away with one of them, but you do enough of them that way, and it'll leak. There you go. Quiet. That's not hitting the cover. If it's hitting the cover, you'd hear it clanging on it. All right, now all I'm going to do, put the hose back on it, put the shock back on it, and we'll take it for a test drive. Hose clamp, don't forget that, very important. That is a necessity. These is a lock nut. I always put a little bit of Loctite on there after a couple times off and on these things. The nylon on that lock nut gets a little wore out. Blue Loctite. Everybody needs more friends in the world the way it is today. As Mr. Hunterwork says, this is torqued down to about 2 Ugga Duggas. There you go, 2 Ugga Duggas. Tell you what, make it 3. 3 Ugga Duggas. All right, all that's on. We'll put this wheel back on and lower her down, and we'll take her for a test run. So it ran down the road good and smooth. No jerkiness. It was getting just a little bit of jerkiness. It's probably from the belt, and the clutch has been out a little out of line. Maybe from being a little dirty, I don't know. But anyway, runs good now. So we're good to go. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you don't mind, if you hadn't already, hit down below, subscribe, hit that like button, hit the bell so you get notifications. We try to release new videos once a week. And
please stop saying don't forget to like and subscribe.
Sure, but how are we going to get followers on this?
thank you for tuning in. Happy trails.